Boom.
Are we on?
Good afternoon, sir.
It is Friday.
Hey.
Being led in, well, might be less inspiring tunes, but
Yeah, well, you know.
led in by
We'll take what we can
Metallica,
get today.
Saint Anger. All right. Anyway, no, it's our weekly podcast, our Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast, where we come together every week, talk shit.
Do shit.
Well, really, that's what we do, right?
Yeah, this is 35 to 40 minutes of us talking shit.
If we want to get down to the nut cutting, as they would say around here, which I think involves castrating calves, but
And then eating the remains.
which actually I had a lot of shit to talk about that once upon a time. Oddly, I found a guy that knows how to do calf fries, and it completely changed my world around. They taste like chicken nuggets if you do them the right way.
Really?
Yeah, you know Dave.
Oh, I know.
High five, Dave.
I know High Five and Dave.
Yeah. No. The apparently you get calf fries and you slice them. You know, well, actually you find a butcher that'll do that shit for you. But you slice them and you throw them in buttermilk like a day before,
Buttermilk.
and the entirety of the acids and the buttermilk infuses it and makes them really kind of tender.
That's why it's so good for chicken.
Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly. The same principle. But, I mean, if you do it for like a full day, you got to put it in like a good cooler and with ice and buttermilk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then, the next day, the ice is all melted off, and then you go and open it up and, pour it off in your neighbor's yard. No, that's the one. But, I mean, you do something with it. You get rid of it. But leaving behind the now seemingly looking like chicken nugget calf fries.
Wow.
And then, and then you go and you bread those up and you deep fry them like you would just about any, like onion rings or whatever. Pretty great, actually.
Wow. I've always wanted to try them.
No, they're usually awful. If you get them right around here, you get your various ranchers and cowboys around here. They're going to be terrible. I promise you.
Yeah.
I promise you they'll be awful. But the way that Dave showed me, I thought, good God Almighty. And so it turns out, yes, calf balls can be pretty entertaining, and a good novelty to go ahead and dine with your friends. Dude, guy went through, God, I don't remember how many. It was like 20 pounds of the things. When we had the CD release party, I played with him.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, like 20 pounds of calf fries.
Fucking hell.
That's a lot of balls.
That's a lot of nards, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, we come together to talk about all kinds of crazy things having to do with Mead, Metal, and MMA, usually with diversions here and there. We'll go ahead and get right off the bat here. Mead. Well, as we had expected, the Runestone batch going fast.
Yeah, we're already down to less than a full case.
Yeah. And oddly enough, it's not all Brandon this time.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty spread out. Ruben Gonzalez, of course, got a gratis bottle for his fine work.
Well, provided the artwork, you get a box.
That's right. You put in work, you get something in return.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine, a former boss, purchase one yesterday.
Yeah, I had a coworker, bartender. Yeah, we've been. My brother ended up ordering up one.
I mean, I have bought 4, but
Jesus Christ!
yeah, because I bought two. We went to Vegas,
Vegas,
and then
right.
one last Thursday, and then one yesterday. Thursday before last.
Yeah, that's a lot of bottles. So anyway, we're down to like 11. That's fine.
Get them while they're hot, folks.
It's a premium batch, so
It is, and it's one that will probably sporadically be around at best.
Yeah.
This could be a one-off,
Maybe. I mean, a lot of times I kind of like to let folks that drink our product let us know if they think it needs to come back or not.
Oh no, yeah. If we got like a half dozen people that say they want it back, it'll come back.
Yeah. It's like the Green Man.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we have underway. And we need to move that, by the way, tomorrow before, because I'm officially on vacation now.
Oh, vacay.
Yeah.
Going to Vegas?
No, I'm not you. No, I'm going to play it pretty low key. But the fact of the matter is, though, is that batch does need to be moved and clarified and needs to get some green chili put in it. So.
Yeah. This initial kind of run, it's had a lot of time to sit and chill. It still does seem a little cloudy.
Yeah, I mean, but you never know what you're going to get. I probably blame that on honey because the yeast isn't different. The water's really not much different. So it might be the honey, maybe.
Right.
Because we did utilize some different honey. I was at that Dakota clover honey.
Right.
So that might require a lot more clarification.
Right.
Because that's ultimately what we want. We want a good-looking bottle, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we keep it all natural. You know, we're not going to go the route of stringent fucking chemicals to bring you a clear batch.
No. You know, now, having said that, the Runestone batch will have a little tiny bit of a wisp in there. And what that is, though, that's orange oil. And there's really nothing we can do about it. That's where flavor comes from. So, you know, I'd recommend for all of our meads, if you can do it, find a cool spot in your house that's dark and lay that bottle on its side. Let the cork do its work. Because if it sits there for months and months and months and months,
cork dries out.
The cork dries out, and then you start having some leakage issues. You know, kind of like an old man and his penis.
Oh man! Every time he sits down, a little pee shoots out of his wiener.
That's gonna make some fans right there. Oh shit! All right, okay, yeah, but that's about it for the mead side of it. We
oh shit,
we're gonna be starting up another batch here before long. Not sure what route we're gonna go. Yeah, that slap was brought to you by Bullet Rye Whiskey, manufactured right there in my home state of Indiana.
Oh, my goodness.
That was brought to you by Brandon from New
that was
Mexico.
brought to you by my gastrointestinal tract and Bullet Rye, I think.
But yeah, I don't know what the next one's going to be. Probably long ships, just so that way we have it and can age a little bit before we start heading toward the holiday season.
Yeah, be nice to maybe, well, seeing on how Green Man goes and what we have left, getting because we already have Holly King primed and ready to go for the end of the year.
We do have 12 bottles of that. Now, what Brandon and I are going to do is right before our annual wine and cheese social we put on, like the week before, we're going to go ahead and open a bottle of that and make sure that it's in line for the consuming public.
Right.
Which I'm sure it will be. We're actually really out more out of curiosity than anything.
Sure, so yeah. Rarely do I get to have a bottle of our mead that's been aged a year.
Yeah, and it will be. It'll be a full year by the time we do that. That'll leave 11 for sale, for donation. Got to make sure we're not crossing that crazy line.
Fix that.
Yeah, that'll leave 11. I was trying to gauge from somebody other than me because, I mean, really, I only look at the mead as what it is, and that's a product that we have that people enjoy. I asked Ruben last night, I said, what's probably an acceptable price for something like that? I think we're going to go for $50. It is aged a year. It was good last year, a full year of aging on it, I think. Now, having said that, that is going to be subject to review once we kind of
that's why we're going to donate a bottle to the cause and figure out exactly where it's at.
So you and I can kind of judge whether it's a $40 bottle or $50 bottle or
an $80 bottle
or if it's a $20 bottle. Could you people get this swill off our hands?
Or if it's just our duty to drink it to get it off the face of the fucking earth.
Well, we've always been prepared for that, but we haven't come across that yet. So
not yet.
All right, over to the metal side of the podcast. Sad times.
Yeah, man. It just fucking never gets easier. It never gets better. They all start fucking falling down. Chester Bennington hanging himself with a belt.
Chester Bennington, the lead man for Lincoln Park. Well, I don't know if I guess. They keep calling him the front man. Kind of. He's the guy that does the normal rock vocal.
Right. Yeah.
Mike Shinoda does kind of more of the rap thing.
Yeah.
So it depends on the song.
And he has kind of fallen in the newer shit. He's kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Playing his little six string, doing rhythm shit and stuff.
You know, and I mean, Chester was like a front man for Stone Temple Pilots after they decided they didn't want Scott Weiland to come back again.
2013, 2015, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was good. That was good. It was fine.
I think he was very serviceable. That's probably going to be one of the more overlooked things. Well, now that he's dead, it's not going to be because once you die,
now.
Everybody starts digging it up. But I like Chester, but I guess he's battled depression all of his life.
Yeah.
You know, really.
Well, like we last night, we went back and listened to In the End, and the lyrics now have a lot more weight to them. You know, I mean, it was already a song about being low and how fucking that shit don't matter.
Right.
Well, now it's like, well, fuck. Apparently, it didn't, for real.
Well, now the guy had depression issues, and I think a lot of that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a clinical psychologist or a analytical psychologist. I can't look at it and go, well, obviously this stemmed from this. But the guy was doing very hard drugs at the age of 11.
Right. And honestly, dude, you look at him near the end of his life, he had some Scott Weiland-ish qualities about him.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like near the end.
Right.
It was,
but he hung himself. I mean, he's tight friends with Chris Cornell, and hung himself on Chris Cornell's birthday, which is
fucking heavy.
Yeah. I mean,
as if we didn't have enough sadness for that day as it is.
Sure.
I
mean, it was kind of a gut punch, but not overwhelmingly so. And I don't know if I can attribute that to the fact I've never been a huge Linkin Park guy.
Right. After the second album, I kind of checked out. They went in a direction I wasn't a big fan of, and I just called it good. I mean, I'll listen to Hybrid Theory once in a while, still to this day.
Yeah. No, it's... and I do. I kind of agree. I ended up buying Thousand Suns, and I thought it was fine. But
after the new wears off, though, it's not.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of like the premise behind it. They let every musician go out and kind of do his own thing instead of doing a solo project on their own. Yeah. But yeah, after Meteora, second album,
right?
Yeah, because Hybrid Theory, Meteora, those were great. And it started getting a little weird after that, and really going in a direction that I wasn't a big fan of. So I kind of checked out about 2003 as well.
Silverchair did the same thing. They put out Frog Stomp. They put out Neon Ballroom in '99.
Yeah.
Then they kind of disappeared for a little bit, and they're since come back. But their latest albums are like fucking Dewey Cox weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A fucking army of didgeridoos.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We keep calling them album 1 and 2. We shouldn't, because they actually had one that came out in '97 called Zero with an X.
But, that's probably like a fucking indie release.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but they really, that's what they had. The other thing, probably, the weird thing is, the average person on the street is probably going to remember Linkin Park for their mashup they did with Jay-Z.
Yeah. That Reanimation album was pretty cool for the time.
I thought it was fine. I still watch it once a year, probably.
The video we watched last night for Points of Authority off of that.
Yeah.
Dated, but still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Looked like a whole Halo 2 cutscene.
That's all I ask people to do, is kind of keep in mind kind of the context of the time when it came out.
Indeed. And especially if it's all CG, man, then it's all CG from 2000. Yeah. So you got to go with what you got.
So anyway, rest in peace, Chester. Hey,
man, and I have some inside information on that. Apparently, he hung himself because he got his digital package from Wintersun and was not pleased.
Which I've noticed, you and I are the only two that keep going out of our way to put the ha-ha thing on Facebook.
That's right.
On every post they have.
The fucking campaign continues.
Here's something. Look, you're listening to this podcast on YouTube. What you do, listen to the rest of this, but make a mental note, or at least punch it into another, open up another browser for YouTube, and punch in Ailstorm, and
just type in Ailstorm crowdfunding.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
They troll the living shit out of Wintersun. I thought we were bad.
Yeah, no,
oh my God.
They fucking nailed it. Because if anyone is familiar with Wintersun or follows them at all, they put out this big crowdfunding video when this whole fucking shit show began.
Yeah.
And Yari is ridiculous. He acts like a fucking idiot.
I would say acts like a child, but that'd be an insult to children.
Yeah. Even children have some genuine joy behind what they're doing. This guy is like, the paper says I should raise my fists in the air and make a mangry face, so that's what I'm going to do.
Doesn't it seem so fake?
It is.
Everything he's doing.
And Ailstorm just fucking takes piss right out of it.
Yeah.
The lead singer at the very beginning, because you can tell Yari's reading off a card poorly at that.
Right.
He's doing the same fucking thing. And the whole base is like, we want to have dogs on our backing tracks for our new album. And we can't do that unless we have. And then they're like, okay, all this work we've done, it's well worth at least €1. But however, we're going to sell it to all of you for 750,000 euros.
Yeah, I think one of the bass player or the drummer, I forget which one it is like, yeah, well, I would like a sauna.
The bass player, yeah.
No, check it out. It is.
Yeah.
It's Ailstorm. Type in Ailstorm crowdfunding on YouTube. You
Music's
will
all
not
right too. Their
regret
actual
it.
music's okay. It's a very heavily pirate themed, but
Yeah, small doses.
yeah, listen to a jam, be like, okay, I'm gonna revisit this at a later date.
Let's see, what else do we have?
Your bro, who keeps us abreast of
Well.
everything metal.
Down in the live music capital of the world,
Yes.
Austin.
He sent us a link to Metal Injection that was an infographic for all the songs that Metallica has played live between 1982 and 2012, or the past 30 years.
Okay.
And it's actually really, really interesting to see. Because, of course, before 85, it's going to be all fucking Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All, obviously.
Okay.
But
Right.
as you get down to when the Black Album came out in 92, when they were touring on it real heavily,
Right.
it was a pretty good balance of all the albums and the covers that they did, which primarily were Last Caress, Am I Evil, and So What.
So they're adding a lot more covers, though, as time goes by.
Yeah, well, three is the big one. But as it goes down the line, when Load comes out in 96, you're pretty much getting Load, Black Album, and a smattering of some of the old stuff.
Okay.
It was just really those two albums. Reload, they did not feature a whole lot when it came out.
Okay.
They kind of throttled back on both of them, and it was kind of a good balance of all the albums. Then Saint Anger came out in 2003, and again, all you hear from that is Frantic, Saint Anger, and Dirty Window. Looking at this list, I know they've played more songs. These are just like the big ones off of these albums.
Right.
But apparently they've played Enter Sandman 1,074 times since 1991.
Holy shit. Well, that's the whole thing. If you're a songwriter or any kind of a musician, you better appreciate the hell out of the music you're playing, because if you do well with it, you're going to be you're going to be on the line doing that song all the time.
Yep, and ever since 86, Master of Puppets has been played 1,384 times.
That's crazy.
Whew. But those are my boys.
All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and I think we're great on time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're only at 17 minutes. Let's talk about this then.
All right.
Okay, your favorite Metallica album, favorite of all time.
Master of Puppets.
Hype is the only thing that keeps me from jumping on board with that one, because I was
it
a
ain't
teenager.
hype, man. It's
I was a
true.
teenager.
Yeah.
I was in high school when that came out, and oh my God, it was a bit much to handle. Although that one probably is technically, I'd say from a technical standpoint. No, that's not the right way to go back. From a metal standpoint,
It does everything right. For 86.
It does.
Does everything right.
It has its hits. I mean, and Metallica's not a ballad band, so I mean you can cross that one off. But I mean, but it has.
Well, that has a Sanitarium on it, and that's about as close to a metal ballad you're going to get for that time.
Except for the Black Album.
Yeah, well, when Black Album came out in 90, it put out the metal ballad.
Yeah. Favorite Metallica album of all time. God almighty. I'm going to go Hardwired, just to be a little crazy.
Well, but that's kind of the Metallica fan you are.
Right.
It has grown recently,
Sure.
Yeah,
no, I mean, if I wasn't a Metallica fan when I was 16.
Yeah. I mean, they're really going to have to reach out to you later in your life.
Right.
Which apparently they have, which is good.
Least favorite Metallica album.
Well, when we talked about it for the show here.
Well, see, you're not supposed to give that away.
Well, I know. Well, we were, yeah.
Well, we didn't really come up with any definitive answers.
No. We were just talking about things to discuss on here. But you bring up a great point.
Really? Get the hell out of here.
Last thing I want to do is give you credit for anything.
Yeah, I know.
But Ride the Lightning is either at the bottom or next to bottom. It's a battle between Ride the Lightning and Saint Anger for me.
Yeah, I mean, Saint Anger is an easy one to hate on because there are no hits.
There's nothing.
It is nothing but a riff album.
It is an album that it really feels to me like an album they felt like they had to get out after they recovered from everything they'd gone through.
It's like they're trying to appease their angry fans.
Yeah.
Who are like, no, you guys keep putting out this weird commercial music. Well, so what they do.
Now we're going to get real mad.
Yeah, exactly. So they put out like some of the weirdest, angriest music they could get their hands on. I still think Ride the Lightning. Look, I understand every band's got to start somewhere. I just think that Ride the Lightning is it's raw because they're young, at that point.
Which the rawness does work for some songs on that album. Fade to Black, beautiful song.
Oh, absolutely. That's probably the fourth biggest hit.
The instrumental called Cthulhu, great fucking song.
But the other problem is they're also screwed by the era when they came out.
Yeah.
Sound technology changes by leaps and bounds all the time.
Sure. Especially now.
Now. If you can't find the sound you're looking for, there's something wrong with what you're doing.
Yeah.
But, in the early to mid 80s, right? Ride Lightning, what, 83, 84?
Ride Lightning came out in 84.
84.
Kill 'Em All, 82.
Just by virtue of, God, I wasn't a big fan of Kill 'Em All either, but by virtue of the time.
I thought you would like Kill 'Em All quite a bit with your punk background.
Yeah, kind of. My problem is that things don't age well from that era.
Yeah, very true.
But and that is my fault with Ride the Lightning. It's because of the fact it's very raw, which is positive on some of the things they're doing, but the sound technology of the time doesn't translate well, so therefore it doesn't age well.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
All right. Hey, let us know. I'd love to know what the hell you people think. We post this up and we get probably 30, 40, 50 views of, a podcast right now. Our tens of fans that are out there.
Right. Thank you, both of you.
But do comment. Let us know. That'd be awesome. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on what your favorite and least favorite Metallica
We cool with debate.
And it's, if you give some really good reasons what's up, hell, we'll revisit next week. We have no problem with doing that.
And a little fun tidbit for our local listeners here. On August 27, 1983, Metallica actually played in Portales.
In 83?
On the Kill 'Em All tour.
Well, they have about a turnout of 10.
I would guess for here in 83, I can't even begin.
God, I was a child.
I was a small baby, just a fucking maybe 300 yards away from where they were playing.
Wow. Where'd they play at? The university?
At the university, yeah.
Wow. That's bizarre.
Yeah, opening act was Raven.
Oh, my God.
On the Kill 'Em All for One tour.
Jesus, that is some bizarre, Eastern New Mexico history.
83, brother. Hey, we got Cheech and Chong to come here at one point.
Yeah. Well, it was back when the university used to pay people to come entertain the students.
Now it's like we're getting Willie Nelson in a Lifehouse.
Not even that anymore. There hadn't been a live band at Eastern in 4 or 5 years.
Since Willie, right?
If that's the case, that's probably more like 7 or 8 years.
Oh, shit.
Oh, well. Let's move on to the MMA portion of the podcast. We are looking at 2 fantastic weekends coming up. Fights are not in Europe, although they almost might as well be with a Fox card this weekend.
Yeah, Fox card NYC. This shit. Get your if you're going to be drinking during the fight card, get it done early.
Yeah, you better start drinking right about lunch.
If you like to be in the pocket near the main event or the end of it, you better get started around 4:30. That's when I'm going to get started.
Yeah, you have to, because Fox cards, they have to appease the East Coast viewers. So, therefore, those fights, like main card for us, starts, 6?
I'm going to,
Mountain
if
time?
it's a UFC on Fox card, 6 Mountain time.
So that way, then in New York, then they can bust the whole thing open. Hey, 8 o'clock rolls around, and they'll fight till 10. Well, that's the problem. It's because out here it comes 8 o'clock. And we're left wanting for more.
Yeah.
And then we have to put it on crazy shit from the fight library off of UFC Fight Pass.
That's the thing, though. We can always find something that will fucking occupy our brains.
Ooh,
I want to bring up before
we get to that.
All right.
Another search. Gabby Garcia heavyweight on YouTube.
No, don't do it. It's like a snuff film.
Heavyweight chick fight.
Might as well throw in Japanese old woman next to it.
Yeah, or the other ones. There were like 2 fights. I think.
The other one where she fought that lady Tapa.
No, that big black lady, Harmony something.
Oh, so we watched 3. We watched that old Japanese
Okay,
bra
so
get
there are
beat
3
up.
fights on there.
That Samoan, that Hawaiian lady, Lady Tapa, who kind of gave her a little bit of a run, knocked her on her
Kinda.
ass.
Yeah.
But then, that was it.
Yeah.
And then that black lady, yeah.
Yeah, Gabby Garcia is she's in the women's heavyweight division. Obviously not the UFC because they're not ridiculous.
We're talking rising here.
This is
open weight, motherfuckers.
265-pound limit, And she has to kind of cut, I think, to make 265. Muscle bound as all get up.
I wonder if
that's the best that HGH and steroids can bring.
I wonder when she's going to enter the USADA testing pool.
There is no USADA testing pool.
Not for her.
Not for Ryzen. Ryzen
Well, when
prides
she's
them.
want to make that, fledgling fucking UFC career, maybe they'll build a heavyweight division around her.
Ryzen prides themselves on telling fighters, hey, here's some good news. You don't have to get drug tested. Just like Pride back in the old days.
Ah, man, back when it was run by the mafia.
Shit. All right. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to serious
Yeah,
stuff. Big fight night coming up tomorrow.
But before that, we didn't cover this last Friday. Fucking Gegard Mousasi. Bellator on the roster now.
I don't blame him.
Me neither.
The UFC, he is probably one of the, and he'll have a championship at Bellator within his first fight, probably.
Well, I think first fight they're planning for him might be him and Rory McDonald, which would be amazing.
That'd be a great fight. The UFC is losing money on what could have been maybe one of the greatest fights that they would have at welterweight. Yeah. Because Gegard Mousasi, I really thought, and I still think to this day, he would probably beat the current welterweight champ.
Yeah. Well, no, he's fighting middle weight.
That's right. He was in Weidman's division.
Weidman,
You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
That's when he put down Weidman with the when they had the new adopted rules, and everyone was raising a stink about it, but it was totally legit.
It was completely legit. Yeah, that's right. That's a middleweight. So Rory is now fighting a middleweight at Bellator.
Either that or Gegard might try to cut to 170.
Which he's done.
He's done
it, and he makes weight cuts.
I don't know
like
how you don't hear a lot of fighters getting popped for fucking drugs in Bellator. You know what I mean? You don't hear about it.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. There are some people that would make the argument the UFC messed up when they brought in what's his name, Jeff
Sessions.
No, no, not the Attorney General. No, but the guy that's over the USADA testing. Yeah. That because of the fact that I understand the UFC's point. They said, look, we're going to make sure this is as legitimate as possible. There are no detractors. People can't say that people are avoiding it. But the problem is then they turn around and stick their own foot in their ass by bringing Brock Lesnar in for UFC 200 and allowing him to avoid testing. Yeah. And they're doing the same thing one way or the other with Cyborg.
Which, by the way, apparently Brock has re-entered the testing pool. He might be wrapping up his wrestling career. Might go for another run of the UFC.
I think that'd be a bad move on his part.
But going back to Gegard joining Bellator, this is a very scary trend. It needs to be for the UFC. They need to look at this and realize because Gegard's main reason for doing what he did, UFC matched what Bellator was offering, but it was freedom he was looking for.
Yeah,
and you're not going to get that in the UFC right now. Unless you are making money for the UFC, then you're going to have a lot of freedom a la Conor McGregor.
I would say that's the biggest problem the UFC has. They're putting all their eggs in very few baskets. They will stroke Conor all they have to.
UFC
Ronda Rousey
was a horrible buy rate.
Ronda Rousey, if she ever decides to come back, they're going to stroke her. They're going to stroke her man-child.
But she has no value in the eyes of the people anymore.
That's the whole I do think she's past value.
That's it.
But the thing is, that's what the UFC does because they think that's what the people want to see. And they kind of do. People kind of do want to see Conor McGregor. But the problem is, if that's all your promotion can focus on, well, you're going to lose sight of the trees for the forest, right?
Well, hopefully 214 is the start of something good to finish this year strong for the UFC because it's been rather dismal at all fronts.
214 is going to be something we can look forward to. And, of course, we'll be focusing almost exclusively on that next week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because that's going to be the biggest card of the year, I think. But let's go ahead and run through the card, shall we?
All right.
Not the whole card.
Well, yeah,
really.
No, I got a few picked out here. The preliminary card, by the way, if you have UFC Fight Pass, you better start queuing that shit up at 2 o'clock because there are 5 UFC Fight Pass cards.
Ooh, let's go
Fight Pass
run.
fights.
They'll pace that out to 4:30.
Marlon Vera, Jeremy Kennedy. Not really a whole lot of big name fighters on this one.
Okay.
Preliminary card: Alex Oliveira,
Cowboy. Right. Yeah. You know what? I
fighting
used to,
Ryan LaFleur, by the way.
I used to like that guy until he was an asshole because he didn't make weight and then started talking a lot of shit after his last fight.
Yeah.
I hope he goes down. Who's he fight?
He's fighting Ryan LaFleur.
I don't know who LaFleur is, but I'm pulling for him. So
No,
you cannot miss weight.
And
your whole job in the lead up is to train and be prepared, and to make sure you're at the weight class you're supposed to be at. And that guy came 6 pounds or some
it was
bullshit
atrocious.
like that.
It was atrocious.
No, I mean he just gave up at some point. And the lead up to. So.
Unless, hold on. Let me double check, make sure this isn't that other Alex Oliveira.
Oh, the one at 155?
Yeah, no, this is the one that fought Cerrone at lightweight.
Yeah, all right.
The Battle of the Cowboys. Ryan LaFleur, local boy, fighting out of Long Island.
I was going to say, is he out of Long Island?
Lindenhurst.
Okay.
Dude's 13-1. Since he's been in the UFC, he has not been able to finish any of his victories, even though he does have 5 of them. He did lose to Damian Maia in a main event.
Everybody loses to Damian Maia.
He wasn't finished, though. He was able to take him 25 minutes, which that's usually pretty good.
Well, now, Maia went through a weird little slump, though, a couple of years ago, where he wasn't finishing anybody.
Yeah,
he looked
true.
very pedestrian, but god dang, he got right back on his game, though.
Let's see. Rafael Natal fighting Eric Anders.
Man.
Anders, I think there's going to be a lot of local guys here that we have not heard of. Let's go ahead and jump to the main card.
Yes.
6 o'clock, fucking be there.
Okay.
Jimmy Rivera fighting Thomas Almeida.
Almeida, all day long.
Let's see. Jimmy Rivera, 20-1.
Knockout in the first round for Almeida.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that 20-1 record's a little deceiving considering like 15, 16 of those are in a different promotion. So
yeah, no, very true. As far as Almeida goes, 22-1, lost to Garbrandt May 29th.
Yeah.
Knocked out Brad Pickett, knocked out Anthony Burchek, knocked out Albert Morales.
Yep. First round.
Yep.
First round.
With Jimmy Rivera.
Try to tell me that's a bad pick.
20-1. Got a decision on Pedro Munoz. Decision against Yuri Alcantara. That was a good fucking fight back in January 2016, by the way.
Yep.
Last got a decision win against Faber at 203, but that was September. That was nearly a year ago.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to... And Almeida is a fight finisher.
Yeah.
He's got that in the second round.
He's got some dangerous hands. Yeah, second round's the latest. Man, I'm thinking first.
Absolutely. Totally possible. Light heavyweight bout coming up next. Patrick Cummins fighting Gian Vellante.
Good God,
Patrick Cummins, great mustache.
Yeah.
Huge mustache.
Oh, yeah.
But
Vellante's not the cat from Italy, is he?
No, he was born in Wantagh, New York.
Oh, yeah, because he's going to be
Fights
a
out
Long
of
Island
Baltimore.
guy. No. Go mustache when in doubt.
Yeah, Cummins, though, he last 5, he is 2-3 in his last 5. He lost to OSP finish, lost to Glover via finish, and lost to Nogueira. Rogerio.
Let me change my pick to the other guy, whoever he is.
He did knock out Rafael Cavalcante and did take Jan Blachowicz to a decision.
Oh, my God.
Gian Vellante, on the other hand.
I'm on the Vellante train.
Vellante is 15-8. I don't know. He is 2-3 in his last 5 fights.
My God. These guys are on the main card?
Got knocked out by Tom Lawler.
There's a difference there. There's a difference.
Latifi took him to a decision loss, and then he was TKO'd by Mauricio, by Shogun, back in March.
Wow.
Has knockout victories over Anthony Perosh and Saperbek Safarov. I'm sure he's a Sambo specialist.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the mustache. I'm going Patrick Cummins.
I don't.
This might be a 15-minute.
I have a no pick in this fight. So. All right.
You ain't got no Hoss?
No.
Co-main event, featherweights. Dennis Bermudez fighting Darren Elkins.
Bermudez by a lazy decision.
Did you see what Chan Sung Jun did to him in his last fight, though?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. Back in February. Fucking the Korean Zombie.
The Zombie.
Yeah, Korean Zombie knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah, but that's a different kind of guy, though.
Last 2 fights were decision wins against Ronnie Jason and Tetsuya Kawajiri.
Hani Jason. Brazilian.
Yeah,
Brazilian.
Fuck that. I don't care. And then lost to Jeremy Stevens and Ricardo Lamas. Bermudez is needing a big win.
Bermudez is Team Alpha Male, yeah?
Bermudez is Long Island MMA. Born in Saugerties, New York. I lived there for 4 years.
Oh, I was confusing with a different guy. Maybe not Bermudez then. Who's he fighting?
He is fighting Darren Elkins, fighting out of Team Alpha Male.
Man,
Elkins is on a 4-fight win streak. Finished Mirsad Bektik at 2-9.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
Yeah. I'm going to go Elkins this, man.
I'll go Elkins. Decision probably. Just because they don't have a lot of inertia down there.
And
at
it'll be amazing to see how he recovers after that Korean Zombie loss, because he did get throttled.
I was thinking Benavidez, not Bermudez.
Oh, right.
That's my problem. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Man, I used to be on the Bermudez train, but god dang, he got derailed a while back
by a guy who just got done serving in his country's military.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then fucking on the shelf with an injury, Korean Zombie. Might be out for at least a year.
Wow. It's almost like he could be a Russian fighter at 155.
He should be an American top team.
Get himself a big old white puffy hat.
I know, I take that back. He needs to go to AKA.
Because, all right.
We'll dive into that next week.
Yeah.
Main event, Chris Weidman and Kelvin Gastelum. The rematch.
I'm going Gastelum all the way. Only because, look, I think Weidman might probably be a good guy. Maybe.
Well, now let's all remember that he did test positive for marijuana metabolites, causing his Vitor Belfort victory to be
Gastelum?
overturned.
Yeah.
To a no contest.
Yeah, because
this guy is obviously a dirty fighter.
Because obviously marijuana is such a performance-enhancing drug.
It just makes you want to do great things in life. Makes me want a sandwich.
I mean, honestly, I have really nothing against Weidman, but this whole New York nonsense, it's the same thing when they kept trying to get Cain Velasquez to fight in Mexico City.
Yeah,
and he'd get his ass shellacked every time.
Last 2 fights have been in New York, or the New York City and in Buffalo, and he got finished in both of them.
I think it would be wonderful for the world and the harmony of all things in life if Weidman gets a loss here.
I'm on the Gastelum train, man. I think.
Well, Gastelum's looked good lately.
Since
the hands have been dangerous.
Ever since the USADA training shit, the testing pool became a thing. Weidman is one of those fighters that has not done well.
Yeah,
he did beat Vitor 187.
But that was before USADA.
That was May 23rd, 2015. Then it all got into effect, and Luke Rockhold finished him, Yoel finished him, and Gegard finished him.
So you're thinking it might very well be
Vitor disease.
the Vitor illness.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Chris Weidman will always be remembered for beating Anderson Silva and then having Silva break his leg on his shin. That's what he's going to be remembered for, is dethroning the man.
Yeah. No, that's, and appropriately so. There's nobody in UFC history that had better success, I guess. I think if you go through the Hall of Fame that they have, I would say Anderson Silva probably at the top of the list. The guy was the Michael Jordan of the UFC for a very long time. So it's not anything against Chris Weidman to really say, yeah, that's his legacy. He beat Anderson Silva twice, and then promptly shit the bed.
Yeah, he beat Anderson Silva pre-USADA.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was hubris that beat Anderson, really, at the end of the
second time, yeah?
No, that's the first time. First time it was hubris. Second time it was poor calcium.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm going to go Gastelum.
Don't Google that one.
And I think Gastelum's going to knock him the fuck out.
Gastelum's got some really good hands lately.
Yeah, and Weidman, that noggin has to be fucked. After the Romero knee, after the Gegard knee, there has to be some lasting permanent fucking damage there.
You don't get a chin back.
No.
You know.
You just get it chiseled away.
That's right.
Until you look like, little dainty man with some very delicate features on the chin area.
Right. All right, man. Well, we've hit the 40-minute mark, and I think we've done justice for our friends out there checking out the podcast.
Yeah,
Time for us to go to our picks. Picks as far as liquor goes.
Liquor. I'm going to go whatever's left in that bottle of rye.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we're aiming for there. I would go Mickey's Big Mouth. Go big. Go old school. Go old school.
No. If we're talking that, I'm going to go fucking yard-long 48-ounce frozen margarita.
Yeah, well, from Vegas, sure.
That's right. That's right.
All right. From the metal category, I'm going to say old school Paul Di'Anno, Iron Maiden, and something off of Killers.
I'm going to go with fucking Mama Said from Load. The country song.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. And MMA, my pick this week is... where am I going to go with this? I actually didn't have anything planned out for this part. I'm going to go Misha Tate with all speaking performances she may have.
Go Misha Tate by Cupcake.
Misha Tate by Cupcake.
I think my pick, it's not going to be a fighter. It's just going to be what happens. We're going to have at least 2 cock shots tomorrow.
Well, there are some Brazilians on the card.
That's
so.
right. And there are some people from Long Island on the card as well.
Well, that's true.
Keep the streets alive.
Brazilians and Long Islanders have a lot in common. That's right. If you're listening to this and you're in Islip, New York, go fuck yourself.
Well, guys, thank you for listening to episode number 34 of our humble podcast.
Things in the works. Stay with us. We get into August. I think we have some really positive news for a lot of you coming down the pike.
Yeah, keep an eye on the Facebook page.
Yeah,
Might be some cool shit being on there here and maybe the next week.
I think so. Well, within the next month, I know that.
Yeah.
Within the next week, maybe.
Yeah.
Of course, do keep in mind, my give a shit meter is way down around the 0 right now.
Yeah.
Less than. But that's what we've got. We'll be back right at it again next week. Bugging you people with our profane language and idiocy and all other fun things. Check out Anger from Metallica.
Join Anger. Don't forget the saint. It's a saint, motherfucker.
Saint Anger. I knew it back when it was Friar Anger.
And be sure to come back next week where we will be covering UFC 214.
That's going to be the big one. All right. Hey, you freaks, have a great weekend.
Good night, motherfuckers.